Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and welcome to Casual Discussion, the show where we talk and try to have fun. I'm your host Ezelrix, and today we're gonna set aside the world of comic books and movies to focus on the world of TV. Television is a complicated medium. Some people like cop shows, some people like thrillers, there's also the complicated team cartoon versus team anime. But personally, one of my favorite style of TV show is the situational comedy or sitcom. Funny shows that put a group of recurring characters into funny adventures. Like my favorite How I Met Your Mother or Scrubs, the show about doctors that will make you laugh and cry. There are also shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is hilarious but is also a pretty great cop show. Then you have Community, you have That 70s Show, the classic Friends. And then you have Big Bang Theory. I am a geek, a nerd, call it whatever you want. So as a nerd, I should like this show that likes pop culture and fictional universe, right? Right? You know what? It's been a while since I've watched The Big Bang Theory. I'm gonna try it and come back. Okay, that was not fun. Before we begin, as always, this show will contain a lot of opinion and a lot of spoilers. Then Big Bang Theory has a very wide range of comedy, but I'm gonna focus on the geek aspect of the show as its main problematic. So we're going to set aside science, love stories, sexism, racism, anti-Semitism, slut-shaming, objectification of women, and oh my god, this show was written by Satan. So first of all, as a geek, do I feel represented while watching The Big Bang Theory? You see, a big part of loving fictional character is debating around them. For example, comic book characters pretty much all have a hidden subtlety to them, so let's see what these people think about comic books.
Dick Grayson became Nightwing, a superhero in his own right. Batman 2 has to be the second Robin, Jason Todd.
Okay, you know what? Big Bang Theory has decided to piss me off. That's over for today. I'm done. Out. Seriously? Jason Todd? The Robin who is considered as Batman's greatest failure, who kills, who uses gun, and who even decapitates drug dealer just to send a message? Him? That's your rightful Cape Crusader? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna calm down. Everybody have their own opinion. I happen to disagree with Stewart, just like every other fan of DC Comics, so maybe the rest of the show isn't that bad.
Do you get a new friend? He should be a guy you can trust, you know, a guy who has your back.
And he should have a lot of money and live in a cool place down by the beach where we could throw parties.
I said I wouldn't comment on the anti-Semitism of the show, so I will let this one pass out.
A new friend is going to be Iron Man.
Oh yeah, the laugh track, god damn it. You see, in sitcom, laugh tracks are mainly used to put the viewer in a funny situation, to put them in the mood. That 70s Show and How I Met Your Mother, for example, try to keep the laugh track subtle so it will not be too distracting to the viewer. As for Big Bang Theory, the laugh track is so distracting it might be a character of its own. Seriously, whenever anyone says something that even remotely relates to science or pop culture, the laugh track goes nuts. And when I say goes nuts, I mean it. Here's how the director actually speaks to the crowd who laugh. Laugh, ha 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 ha. Harder, ha 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 ha. I said harder! Please, I'm scared you said I could go home if I disrespected the Indian culture. You go home when I say you go home. Now laugh, Sheldon is about to complain about Miles Morales' new suit. You know what, I could keep trashing on the laugh track, or I could just put that clip from YouTube that perfectly sum it up.
So it's settled. The fate of Doctor Who's TARDIS will be decided by a Game of Thrones-inspired deathmatch on the battlefield of Thundercats versus Transformers.
You! Where was the joke? He just named a bunch of shit! How is this comedy? Why are you laughing?
Go for it.
What?
There you go, the internet has started making joke at my place. Can you imagine how uncomfortable it would be if I had a laugh track like Big Bang Theory's? Shut up! Then it begs the question, is the show still funny when you remove the laugh track?
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Denise, the new assistant manager.
Nope.
That both made sense and wasn't offensive.
And to make things worse, Stewart hired some woman.
There we go.
By the way, if it makes you feel any better, I happen to like 8-year-old boys.
What?
Okay, the last one was from Friends. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I love making fun of Ross. But the point is, the show isn't even that funny. Let's do a list of things funnier than Big Bang Theory. You have Community, How I Met Your Mother, That 70s Show, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Staring at a Blank Wall for 16 straight hours. Then there is The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Miles, and Hunting Baby Seals. So we've established that the show isn't that funny and that these people do not know their subjects. But what about the geek representation in the show? Oh boy. When did this came out? Like probably in the early 90s or so, you know, the golden age of bullying. 2007? So you're telling me that the show that came out in 2007, the year where we had Pirate of the Caribbean 3, Harry Potter 5, and Spider-Man 3 as the highest box office movies of the year, contain this sort of jock humor? The show wasn't written for geeks, the show was written for people who likes to make fun of geeks. The show has been written by bullies. It's simple, you take Flash from Spider-Man and Dash from Danny Phantom, you give them some pretty basic screenwriting tools, and you came out with the shitty script of Big Bang Theory. And even then it doesn't work. Dash is pretty funny sometimes. And even then, for temporal reference, this episode came out in 2013. When the episode aired, we were a few months away from Iron Man 3, who will become the highest box office rated film in the year. This show is about geeks and nerds who like the pop culture of the 2000s. How can it be so stuck in the early 90s mentality? Okay, these are just some side characters, but our main cast is 10 times worse. Raj is a character who is there to represent ethnic diversity, but he is indeed a characteristic of the geek who can't talk to women. Howard is a sexual creep who should definitely be locked up.
On the roof, Anais and Giselle are sunbathing. European style.
You can recognize people on Google Earth?
Of course not. I got a buddy of mine at NORAD to have a spy drone fly over.
Shut the fuck up, Howard. You are a sex offender. Leonard isn't as bad as the other, but he lets this terrible behavior happen. And Sheldon is a peculiar case. Jokes aside, I really think that in a sitcom, it is very nice for once to have a character that represents Asperger's people or people touched by autism or mentally challenged people.
What you doing?
I'm attempting to view my work as a fleeting peripheral image so as to engage the superior colliculus of my brain.
Okay, scratch that. Sheldon is just crazy. Seriously? This is your representation of mentally challenged people? To be fair, in Community there is the character of Abed who might just have Asperger, that was never confirmed. He is a geek too, he is what Big Bang Theory should be, and he, plains out, have way better references than any character in this pathetic excuse for a sitcom.
My really good friend.
Well, I didn't realize we were really good friends. I figured we were more like Chandler and Phoebe. They never really had stories together. Sure, I'll do it, Chandler.
Then there is also Scrubs, a sitcom about doctors, but there are some really clever pop culture references too.
Here's my dynamic duo!
Dr. Dory! Holy inferiority complex, Batman! How low is my self-esteem that I'm the sidekick in my own fantasy? It could be worse, Robin. You could be Alfred the Butler. Damn you, sir.
And should I talk about the Arrowverse show, those shows who are supposed to be greedy and serious? There are superhero realistic shows that have better references to superhero than a show about people loving superheroes.
Wait, you don't believe Batman's real?
He's not real. He's an urban legend concocted by the Gotham Police Department to scare criminals. I'm the original vigilante, Barry.
Do you see what just happened? A show about superheroes, doctors, and students have better geek reference than a show that is entirely built on geek references. It's almost as if Big Bang Theory was poorly written. Don't get me wrong, most of the shows I've talked about today, including other shows like Family Guy or The Simpsons, do abort the subject of geek and do diminish them, sometimes not being afraid to fall into the bullying category.
When a woman puts on an engagement ring, it's like when Bilbo Baggins wears the one ring in The Hobbit.
Can you say that again, but not nerd?
Sure. The ring is like the cloak that Harry Potter wears to sneak around Hogwarts.
Yeah, I don't speak virgin either.
But it is made in a funny way with just the right amount. For example, in South Park, Cartman is a bully, he is racist, anti-Semitist, and sexist, but it's funny because everybody hates him because of that, and when he gets what he deserves, that is just so satisfying. As for Big Bang Theory, everybody can say whatever they want and they always get away with it. A bit like Friends, but Friends had the excuse of having aged poorly. Friends debuted in 1994. Big Bang Theory debuted more than a decade later, where most of the ideas that is represented on the show are already obsolete. Plus, Big Bang Theory always adopt the same jokes formula. A character would say something that evokes an ugly stereotype on a group of people, and someone else will add a stupid comment that could be translated by, "It's funny because it's true." Why am I even doing this video? Everybody sees this show is just pure trash. I mean, if everybody saw it, there wouldn't have been 12 seasons of that, but come on.
Ooh, I do love a bad boy.
As evidenced by your boyfriend and his fear of hamsters.
Okay, this one was funny. I think that's what pisses me off about Big Bang Theory. Some gags really are good and funny. Sometimes Sheldon is really cleverly written and plain out, he is funny. Too bad that for that 10% of the show, we have to take the 90% of shit that follows. Just to be clear, the showrunners and the writers, I don't think they really hate the geek and pop culture. In fact, I think they love it and they want to share that love, but the message is just so poorly transmitted. Instead of glorifying the geek culture and putting it on the pedestal that it deserves, Big Bang Theory reinforces the stereotype of the 30-year-old virgin who lives with his mother and who has an old Batman action figure as best friend. One day I hope we'll have a true show about nerds and geeks that truly glorifies this wonderful universe. Until then, I can only recommend to you to watch all the shows I've talked about today, and including some other pieces like Rick and Morty, Futurama, Gravity Falls. So my question for you guys today is, what is your favorite geek or nerd related show? Be sure to indicate it in the comment section down below. Then subscribe and activate the bell to be notified when a new video comes up. Follow me on Instagram to support my artwork. It is always so rewarding to see it grow. Share this video with all your geek and nerd friends, and as always, thanks for watching.